Welcome to the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine weekly newscast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Dave Sadler here as always on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Magazine weekly newscast. Apologies for last week. We had some technical difficulties which you may have found took place the week before. Couldn't get the whole show in fact of the week before was a bit of a cock-up, let's say, and last week it was still trying to sort it, but it's sorted now, so we're back, and looking forward to this week's broadcast. So, first in the news this week, we're in the world of metal detecting. Again, this gentleman who found the following artifact and who the article's about, Mike Smith. I was lucky enough to interview him on the All Metal Mode UK podcast 2 weeks ago, and found out a lot more. In fact, it was the day of the appointments at the coroner's. So basically, Mike has found parts of an Iron Age chariot, and it has now been declared a treasure by the Pembrokeshire coroner. Mike originally made the discovery in, I think it was February 2018, in the Milford Haven area of South Wales. And basically this has now been to coroner. Mike has I think he's got 9 artefacts which are now Crown property, and an independent valuation committee will decide on the payment to Mr. Smith. Further on from this, now very, very interestingly, the local archaeological organisation, I think it's Dufford Archaeological Society, have done some test archaeology on the site. They've also utilised the ground penetrating radar and found there is multiple hits in the area, both building and below where the burial is has been found by Mr. Smith. Large amounts of what they feel is metal, and potentially in this case it has been surmised that this could actually be a battle in the area, and this is the chieftain's chariot, and below is the armour of all the armour and weapons of all the other people downed at the fight. So we are looking forward to learning more from Mike. It's the second time he's been on the show. The first time to introduce the Iron Age chariot find, and the second time obviously to discuss what's happened thereafter. And hopefully the National Museum of Wales said it will acquire the treasure for the national collection on behalf of the people of Wales. Now, not only did Mike find a turret ring which would have guided the chariot reins, there was also a medieval brooch decoration. They've even got as far now as to find a top of the pair of wheels revealed by the trowel excavation. The Celtic designs on some of the artifacts are known as late Latina art, which to me sounds French. I don't honestly know where that's come from originally, but even so, it was fantastic to talk to Mike again and find out more. And now it's fantastic to find that these artifacts are being taken so seriously that they've discovered what could be history changing for the south of Wales. So well done, Mike. Next in the news, a bit of barn pottery and claptrappery. Straight from the Sunday Express today. Egypt exposed. Secret KGB files prove ancient pyramids built by aliens. I'll let you hum and ha over that as I continue to tell you about the report. Egyptian pyramids were built by aliens, according to outrageous claims made during a bombshell documentary on secret KGB files. The KGB were the main security agent for the Soviet Union from 1954 until its breakup in 1991. While serving as science advisor in advanced propulsion systems, Dr. Viktor Ivanovich claims he gained access to files on one of their secret mission projects called Project ISIS. He says the documents reveal the Soviet government not only investigated whether ancient Egypts were aware of extraterrestrial life, but they may have also lived among them. And it goes on about how the aliens made Egyptian pyramids. Anyway, there's lots of flat areas and little obstacles in Egypt, also near the centre of the earth. I'm sorry, personally, I have absolutely no... don't think in any way, shape or form that this would be the case. I think it's somebody trying to make some money out of modern day claptrappery, unfortunately. So you can read more if you Google Egypt exposed, secret KGB files prove ancient pyramids built by aliens, because I really don't want to carry on with that one. Now, one that I was looking forward to reporting on last week is yet another Egyptian story. There seems to be a plethora of Egyptian finds of late. Obviously, this excites me greatly, having been to Egypt, to the pyramids, to Mount Sinai, St. Catherine's Monastery, and I took a cruise down the Nile, visiting multiple locations along the way. In this case, they've found a pharaonic tomb dating back nearly 2,000 years at Tuna el Gibel, which contains up to 50 mummies. Egyptian archaeologists uncovered the pharaonic tomb containing 50 mummies dating back to the Ptolemaic era, which is 323 to 30 BC in Minya, south of Cairo. Again, I can't do this sort of article justice. It's the images that you need to see. So again, please Google tomb containing 15 mummies uncovered in Egypt. The collection that has been found in these burial chambers, some are wrapped in the bandaging that you'd normally see, and some seem to be in a different sort of like a closer sarcophagi than what we would normally expect. Absolutely fantastic images. You know, what more can you say about something like that? You know, it's bringing archaeology on leaps and bounds currently in the... Well, it has for years, since the days that all the Egyptian things were originally discovered, and people started taking Egypt so seriously in the ways of archaeology and such like. There is a fiery theology and inclusive... No, that's not the right word. That's not where I was looking. I'm just reading words out generally then. 12 of these mummies are children, they think. And I'm just scrolling through pictures, and you can see the 5 small, and I'm talking very, very, very small. You know, you can pick them up in both hands quite easily. Some of the mummies are in fact in the, as you'd expect, coffin type thing with no lids. And it's again in the middle of somewhere that you wouldn't expect things to be found, as is the whole of Egypt. You know, some of the things popping up weekly, monthly, yearly, absolutely fantastic. It's one of them places that I'm desperate to return to in the future anyway. So yeah, have a look for that. 50 mummies found in a tomb in Egypt. Didn't do my best on that article. I was misreading something. I do apologise. Anyway, your next article, it's our final article today, is a metal detecting article, and this leads me firstly a nice little segue. I've actually been out and about today in the fields in Derbyshire. I took part in a organised metal detecting rally by a group called Finds in the Fields Metal Detecting Group, which is if you look on Facebook or social media, I'm sure you'll find it. Now, from what I saw, there was 50 plus people there. I got there an hour late because I had to work this morning, and each and every one were finding bits and bobs. There was a gold watch winder with a encrusted jewel within it, which obviously needs to be looked at to find out what the jewel type is. I also saw multiple buttons, musket balls, and silver coins. Not so much the hammered silver coins, but sixpences, etc. And I had 1 or 2 finds of consequence myself. The first find, now, I know metal detectorists won't take this quite seriously, but having a love of archaeology and history, to me, this find is superb. It's a big square nail. Obviously, being square, it would suggest that it is quite old. It's 8 centimetres long. The head itself is 2 centimetres square, and it's a nice little artefact that I found. Second of the day, I did find a lot of hot rocks, a lot of iron. I was using the Rutus Alta 71 machine. I wasn't au fait with the settings, so I went on a basic settings and carried on as is. I did at one point think, I'll have a change, I'll have a play, so I changed over to the coin mode, and almost instantaneously, and this was quite exciting for me, I went over somebody else's hole, and the metal detecting, for those of you who don't metal detect, generally the higher figures that appear on the digital readout would suggest it's more coin or silver or gold or such like. The lower numbers, 20 and below, generally would point towards iron. So this was jumping around about 102. So I thought, well, somebody else's hole. Some people do forget to check the hole again after they found what they have originally found. And just at the edge of the hole, in fact, there was a small piece sticking out of the hole, was my discovery. Now, at full length, enlarged, because it has got a hinge on it, it's 18 centimetres long. Closing it, obviously, down to 9 centimetres. And what I've found, and if you look on the Archaeology and Metal Detecting Facebook group on social media, on Facebook or on Twitter, you will find an image of this. I found some Victorian nutcrackers, which I thought were fantastic. There's nothing great about them. They're not ornate. It's just a general piece, but what a fantastic find to somebody in the Victorian era to be eating nuts out in a field, perhaps, doing the farming, cracking the nuts, walking along, doing the deeds. Absolutely lovely little find. So I've treated them with a well-known substance bought from B&M's or from Tesco's and such like. It's called the original non-silicone wood silk. Now with this, I found quite some time ago through a tip-off from a friend of mine. You're talking £1.29 for a 250ml tin, which lasts for years. It's a furniture polish, but it also contains a large amount of beeswax. So not only does it clean the artifact or the coin, but the beeswax does actually help keep it all nice for you in preservation. I've actually contacted the company and discussed that with them, and they said yes, they do know this is the case. Obviously, they can't spend a fortune promoting something that wouldn't sell greatly to the metal detecting or archaeological community. But I've also discussed this with a finds liaison officer who said yes, that's absolutely perfect. They've, following on, looked into it themselves and found yes, wood silk with the beeswax is a fantastic cleaning and preservative for any artefacts or coins. I did find a few coins as well. A George VI halfpenny from 1932. A coin that I am unsure of. I can't place it. There's no markings on it. It's so well worn that I can't place it. And also just a modern day. How much is that worth? 1994 Polish Ziotish, 5 Ziotish. So some obviously Polish field workers or field walkers have perhaps dropped that. So yeah, I really enjoyed myself. It's the first time I've been out for some time due to personal issues, and I can't thank Find a Field Metal Detecting Group enough for putting on a great event. In fact, I think they've got another one on in a couple of weeks, which I'll be participating in too, which is quite local to me, near Alton Towers in Staffordshire. So anyway, moving on to the Scarborough News. A metal detector enthusiast working in a field at Ebbston has found an early medieval pyramid mount used to secure soldiers' swords. This has gone to inquest. He made the discovery about 7 inches down in the ground in a farmer's field in the village, and this has gone to the North Yorkshire coroner. Evidence was given at the Northallerton hearing that the farmer and the metal detectorist had agreed that the proceeds of any treasure would be shared. A British museum expert said in a statement that the item dated back to Anglo-Saxon times and the mount was used to secure military swords. So, what I've done, I've popped onto the Portable Antiquities Scheme database to have a look myself at what these artifacts look like. And yeah, it's as it says. It's a non-ornate, or a little bit ornate, you're not talking gold or jewels or anything, pyramid-shaped cap, let's call it. And the function of the pyramidal mounts it's uncertain, but it seems likely they were used to help secure the sword in the scabbard. 2, I think, were famously found in the high-status graves at Sutton Hoo Mound 1, and they are relatively uncommon grave finds. They are, however, common accidental losses. There are 54 on the Portable Antiquities Scheme database, including 6 gold, 20 silver and 28 in copper alloy. So again, pop onto the Portable Antiquities Scheme database and pop in medieval pyramidal mount, and I'm sure you'll find that. So that's the news for this week. Thank you all for listening. Apologies again for the unexpected error in 2 weeks ago's show. Fixed it now, and hopefully this is working fine and dandy. So thank you all, and we'll speak to you next week.
The Archaeology and Metal Detecting magazine acts as a hub for information, offering articles from archaeologists, detectorists and other specialists throughout the genre, featuring many links, event info and news articles associated to archaeology and metal detecting. We also offer professional review services and promotion for books, resources, videos, documentaries, gadgets, equipment and much, much more. The magazine is run by the archaeological and metal detecting community for the archaeological and metal detecting community. So come visit us at archmdmag.com, that's archmdmag.com, and check out information from our media section with all the latest content, news from the Archaeology channel, podcast and the YouTube channels that feature the now legendary Digger Dawn, the Man with the Hat and Archeo Duck, just to name a few. If you would like to offer an article, link or inquire about other services, then pay us a visit at archmdmag.com and drop us a line.